Are you struggling to group an array of objects by date in Swift? It can be a bit tricky, but don't worry. Today, we're going to break it down step by step. I totally get it. It can be frustrating when you're trying to manipulate data and nothing seems to work. You're not alone in this. Many developers face similar challenges. Here's the specific question we're addressing. One user asked how to group an array of objects by date when the response from the backend is already sorted. They provided a sample response that looks like this. The response from the backend is sorted, but needs to be grouped by date. This means we need to take each date and collect all related messages under it. Let's dive into how we can achieve this. Stay with me until the end, because I have a neat trick that will make your data handling in Swift much easier. To begin grouping the array of objects by date, the user should first create a dictionary to hold the grouped messages. This will allow us to organize the messages based on their date. Next, the user should iterate through each object in the array. For each object, they will extract the date and check if it already exists in the dictionary. If it does, they will append the message to the existing array. After grouping the messages, the user should convert the dictionary back into an array format. This will allow us to return the data in the required structure. Finally, the user can print or return the result to verify that the messages are grouped correctly by date. This step ensures that the output matches the required format. Fun fact: did you know that Swift was introduced by Apple in 2014? It has quickly become a favorite among developers for its simplicity and power. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative solution provided by a user involves modifying an existing method to handle optional date objects. They created a function called group sort, which organizes elements into categories based on their dates. This function checks if the date exists, compares it to existing dates, and groups the elements accordingly. Now, let's dive into a different answer from another user. An alternative approach shared by a user involves creating a struct for articles and sections. They define an article struct with properties for title, published date, and clean URL. Then, they use a section struct to group articles by date. In their implementation, they iterate through the articles. If the published date is not already in the data source, they create a new section. If it exists, they append the article to the existing section. That's it for that response. Let's explore another one. An alternative approach shared by a user involves converting the date to a number for grouping. They suggest using the dictionary function to group objects based on the time interval since 1970, applying a multiplier for custom date ranges. Additionally, the user emphasizes converting the int type back to date if needed, ensuring the grouped data retains its date format. Here's a pro tip. Always ensure your data is well structured before processing it. This will save you a lot of headaches down the line. And there you have it. You now know how to group an array of objects by date in Swift. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and tricks.